This is the unboxing of the Gigabyte Z77X-UD3H motherboard. As we can see, Gigabyte want us to know there's 3D power, an all-digital engine, and they've got their 3D BIOS, which is just a dual UEFI BIOS, which is the BIOS that you can use a mouse in. We also have Ultra Durable 4 with this motherboard, which improves on Ultra Durable 3 by adding a glass fabric PCB, which improves humidity protection. Other features, we've got obviously support for the 3rd generation Intel Core i series of processors, PCI Express Generation 3, again you need a compatible CPU to be able to have Gen 3 bandwidth, Virtual MVP, MSATA on board, so you can take advantage of Intel SRT and put a small MSATA SSD on the motherboard to enable caching, and we've got also NVIDIA SLI support. Best Tech Award since 2007, #1 with PC Authority. We turn to the back of the box, we can see more of a in-depth breakdown of this motherboard. So as you can see, all digital power across the CPU, the Intel HD graphics, the memory, and the VTT. We've got a breakdown of the motherboard layout itself, so you can sort of see what it looks like, but we'll get to that in a minute. We've got the Intel Smart Response technology and ability to put an SSD cache. Got humidity protection, electrostatic protection, power failure protection, and high temperature protection. We also got the USB 3.0, SATA 3.0, and USB 3 times the power spec, so you can charge phones and other portable devices via USB ports significantly faster. There is also on-off recharge, which allows you to charge those devices whilst the system is powered off. You can just plug them into the USB ports and they will charge. Let's get into the unboxing of this particular board. So let's open this up. Okay, immediately we see a nicely coloured I/O shield plate. We see a Gigabyte warranty commitment, which basically says if you bought this in Australia, you're going to have a 3-year warranty, which is good to see because Gigabyte boards evolved. 3-year warranties were only offered in the US and Canada. We have a black flexible SLI bridge. We have 4 black SATA cables, a user manual with a driver disk. Download the latest drivers off the Gigabyte website. We have a multilingual installation guidebook, and then we have a piece of cardboard. And underneath, oh, we also have a Gigabyte powered sticker that fell back there. Underneath this cardboard, we have the motherboard itself. Let's just close the box up. So we have a nice static-free surface on which to have a look at the board. And the motherboard is itself. So let's have a look at the PCI Express lane breakdown. Let's just get this into shot. We've got a PCI Express X1 slot, then we have a PCI Express 3.0 slot at X16 bandwidth, PCI Express X1, another PCI Express X1, then we have a PCI Express X16 slot, but is only wired up for X8 bandwidth, as it says on the motherboard. Then we have another PCI for any legacy devices, and then we have a PCI Express X16 slot, but is only wired up to 4X. So if you're going to populate video cards in the system, you'd want to populate it first in the top slot, and then following on to this 8X slot. Don't put a graphics card in the 4 slot, X4 PCI Express lane, because it's just not going to perform very well at all. It probably won't even be detected by the system. So if we move down to the bottom, we can see there's a front panel audio header, which is good because of Gigabyte's previous motherboards. They put them right behind the header, right behind the output on the back panel. TPM, we've got 3 USB 2 front panel headers, another 4-pin system fan header, front panel connections. We do have an LED post out, so if there is an error in post, you can just look up in the manual and you can see what the error means. Turn to the side, we can see the SATA slot layout. So it says SATA port 5 will be disabled when using the MSATA slot, which is here. So you can put an MSATA SSD, but that will disable port 5 out of here. There's another 2 SATA 3 gigabits per second, and these 2 white ones are the SATA 6 gigabit per second ports. We have a USB 3 front panel connector in its ideal location, 24-pin power connector, another 4-pin system fan header, V checkpoints, so if you have multimeter you can check what the actual voltages going to everything is. We do have a power button, reset switch, and CMOS clear switch. The top of the board, there's a CPU 4-pin power connector, 8-pin, and if we move on now onto the I/O panel. As you can see, we have a PS2 port, keyboard mouse combo, which is always good to see, 2 USB 3 ports, VGA, DVI out, we have optical audio out, we have HDMI and display port, 2 more USB 3, 2 eSATA ports, 1 gigabit Ethernet, and 2 more USB 3, and then 7.1 channel HD audio out. Thanks for watching the unboxing of the Gigabyte Z77X-UD3H motherboard.